a very good afternoon and a happy Wednesday to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Just got to give you our weekly weather update. It's a little grey but still mild, but we've had a bit of a storm, Storm Ellen, I think, over the weekend. So it's been a bit windy and so on, but we're still here and raring to go. So thank you for joining us. Now, we are taking a little bit of a tour today down into Somerset and Devon to share some of our favourite hotels down in that neck of the woods, because it really is a very special part of our beautiful countryside. And if you have guests who want to explore that sort of southwestern area, whether they're Poldark fans or big fans of gardens and so on, it really is quite magical. So we will happily share some more itineraries from that neck of the woods as well. But we will now go through some of the hotels. So as you can see, we've gone quite far west into Somerset and Devon. So an overnight, maybe a couple of overnights would be perfect. But they're all beautifully placed to go exploring some of the delights of the countryside. So starting out with probably the newest kid on the block, the Newt, which is quite incredible. It's a real treat. I mean, they took 6 years to I guess, fine-tune all the details and make it as beautiful as it is. And you can really see where they've put the work in. I mean, it's a fabulous old building dating back from the 17th century and is surrounded by this incredible parkland and gardens, and you can see where they are sort of growing a lot of the food that your guests will eat. So it's dare I say it, it's quite like Heckfield in a way, in this sort of sustainable grow their own vegetables that are then served to your guests and so on. It's quite amazing. They've got a fabulous cider press in the cellar, and your clients can sit there and sip their cider. Probably not too much if they're not used to it, but enjoy the cider. And as in is very in keeping with the whole environment. These glorious little wild swimming pools, which are beautifully safe and sheltered and so on. But there's something lovely about that, rather than always having to go into a swimming pool. Although, having said that, they are incredibly well equipped on the swimming pool front as well. And there's a rather quirky and lovely history of gardening museum, which for those who love their gardening is an absolute treat. My mother was in seventh heaven when she was wandering around that. So so yes, it certainly is. And I think that the style of it is quite interesting. It's quite verging on the minimalist as much as one can in a country house. But location-wise, as I was saying, I mean, it's close to Bristol and Bath, Stonehenge, just a hop, skip and a jump to Salisbury and Winchester and so on. And actually, I'm going to Salisbury this weekend. So next week's Humphreys TV will be from Salisbury, and we featured Wells about 3 weeks ago, I think, which is England's smallest city and is only the same size as Henley, amazingly enough. So looking at the images, you can see, I mean, the spa is absolutely beautiful. And that bottom right picture shows that they don't have lots of fussy cushions and knickknacks and all that sort of thing. It's really, they have gone for the sort of core beauty of the room, which isn't to everybody's style, but certainly is to lots of people. So it's it's quite an amazing find, and a very exciting opening, I think, for that area. Now we are going from one extreme to the other, and heading a bit further south to see the delights of Gidley Park. Now, Gidley has, in the heyday of the chef Michael Caines, when he owned it, I mean, they had 2 Michelin stars and so on. And then when he left, they seemed to lose their way a little bit, but they are well and truly back, which is so exciting, because it's far too stunning a property not to be full of attentive service and fabulous food. It really is quite an extraordinary house, and I think probably wild and dramatic is a great way of describing it. It really encourages you to take your wellies and your walking boots and go exploring the incredibly rugged countryside that surrounds it. Now, the style of Gidley Park is very different from the Newt. And for those couples, if you've got guests, clients who like something rather sophisticated and not overly fussy in terms of service, but everything's terribly quiet and done properly and that sort of thing, then Gidley Park is definitely the place for them. We would never really encourage families to go, because particularly those with younger children might feel as though they're disturbing the peace and the quiet. So maybe sort of couples and so on. But the grounds are utterly magical. And there are all sorts of wonderful facilities with the golf course and the tennis courts and fly fishing and so on, which is just wonderful. And they have some gorgeous, quirky rooms. One with oh, actually I can show you the show. Oh yes, before I move on, they have 9,000 bottles of wine in their wine cellar, and the sommelier apparently has an intimate knowledge of all 9,000. I would so love to test him, but put it this way: A, they've got an amazing selection of wine, and they certainly have a sommelier who knows what he's talking about. So it's just wonderful if you love your food and wine. Now, it's right on the edge of Dartmoor, with little lakes and streams and rivers and so on running through the grounds. For those who love the outdoors and love gardens and so on, you'd be hard pressed to find somewhere better for them to go. It's just wonderful, and very easy access to all of these options. Now, as you can see, the rooms are wonderful, and the 2 images on the right hand side. This is a rooftop hot tub. So rather lovely, with G&T in hand and reclining under the stars in your hot tub, which is rather lovely. And the one below it is, as you can see, it's just inside, but you open those doors and you've got the most amazing views while sipping your G&T or glass of champagne or whatever it may be. It really is just wonderful, and I'm so pleased it's regained its former glory, because it's certainly deserving of it. Now, the Lytton is a little bit different again. It's a rather beautiful and award-winning, and well-deserved award-winning country pub with rooms. And I don't know if you saw our Humphreys TV on Friday, but this we featured the wonderful Crockers, which is another restaurant with rooms, and this is becoming a thing over here in the UK, which is rather lovely. So it's not about a hotel, building a hotel and then deciding on the restaurant and all the facilities. It's having the pub or the restaurant and then giving the option of beautiful rooms to go with it. So in the Lytton, you have a real, I mean, as we've put there, it's a real home from home experience. I mean, it's a 15th century pub, so there is history at every turn, and the wonderful owners just love to share all the stories, as do the locals. Now, this is always a sign of a good pub, when the locals enjoy turning up for a quick G&T, or even better, to have dinner. And they are very, very well served. So it shouts volumes about just how good it is. Now they have some rather lovely gardens that surround it, and in the summer months, just in case it's a bit too far for you to walk, or your clients to walk from the garden into the bar, they have a mobile horse box, from where you can be served cocktails, or a glass of something nice, or a coffee, or something like that. But it's fabulously quirky, and great fun. And they've sort of peppered up the gardens with big comfy cushions, and fire pits for when it gets a little cooler in the evening, and so on. So they've done an amazing job of bringing the outside in, and vice versa. It really is just wonderful, and the staff are amazingly knowledgeable about all of the places to go in the area. So we will happily, obviously, share some fabulous walks and so on close by, but you've got some great locals on hand for your clients too, which is just great. Now, it's very close to Wells and Cheddar Gorge, which we featured in Humphreys TV, and Bath and Bristol, all around that beautiful Somerset area. And as you can see, the rooms are just to die for, and that lovely sort of outdoor feeling, with the sort of striking contrast of the rooms inside. Now, Babington House is part of, you may have heard of, Soho House, which has a rather lovely club in London, and now has the Soho Farmhouse in Oxfordshire as well. But Babington House opened about 30 years ago, and was the first of the countryside properties to really embrace the sort of countryside living, big soft leather sofas and all that sort of thing. And it was really catering for those people who love the city but actually want to spend a bit of time in the countryside. So you've got all of London, but out in the heart of the Somerset countryside, and two amazing pools, indoor and outdoor, and the cowshed spa that has borne lots of cowshed products as well, is absolutely beautiful. And again, very close to Bath and Bristol. You're in the heart of the Mendip down in Babington. So lots to go and see. And as you can see, it really is that sort of countryside chic, I guess, for want of a better expression. But lots of character, and very, very relaxed, which is just lovely. Now, Bovey Castle, we're heading down into Devon now, and this is a truly exceptional castle, and it's a real wellies and ball gowns type place. You can go exploring the grounds and Dartmoor and so on, but my lord, you are then encouraged, yes, maybe, to get dressed up, because the dining experience is absolutely stunning. So you've got, your clients have the choice of rooms within the castle, or the beautiful lodges out in the grounds, which is just lovely. Here's a picture of the beautiful spa, and there is every activity going, from golf and archery to shooting and croquet and so on. And the dining experience is, well, you've got the choice of two, which is just lovely. Now, you really are on the edge of just endless amounts of beautiful countryside of Dartmoor, and I mean, Exmouth and Torquay, and some beautiful little Devon seaside towns to go and visit, which is wonderful. And that picture on the top left, really gives that feeling of being in a castle, well and truly. And then last but by no means least is an incredible character, and we love Berg Island. It is on an island, and when the tide is in, you have to climb aboard this rather incredible tractor to get to and from. But this is Art Deco at its finest. You know those amazing Agatha Christie movies where they're in these amazing Art Deco type buildings, sipping champagne and cocktails and so on. Well, this is what Berg Island is all about. It is absolutely spectacular, and all of the rooms are individually designed and so on. And you can just see, I mean, this is one of the drawing rooms, and this incredible sea tractor. I mean, it's worth going in and out just when the tide's in, just to have a go. But lots of facilities on the island, but you're very, very close to the mainland. So there's fishing and paddleboarding and all of the seaside things to do. But there's a little pub on the island as well. So if you fancy a little after dinner walk, then you can happily go and make the most of a rather lovely pub. And as you can see, I mean, it is the most incredible place to go to, and Salcombe is a real favourite for all of us. I mean, I went to Salcombe many times as a child, and it's a beautiful little Devon seaside town. And here they are. I mean, look at this. It's absolutely glorious. It really is. What is his name? Poirot, Hercule Poirot, Noel Coward. I mean, you could imagine Noel Coward sitting there, sipping a cocktail and regaling stories. And apparently Agatha Christie did write 2 of her novels there. So, so lots of history to share. So I hope you've enjoyed our little tour of Somerset down into North Devon. There are some wonderful places to stay, and we can't wait to share some of them with you and your clients. Now, next week we are heading back up north of the border. And we're going to talk about all sorts of wonderful things that you can do in Edinburgh, in and around Edinburgh. So gorgeous Scottish experiences with our lovely partner in crime, Vicky Bruce, up there.
Sorry, I think Sam's just dropped off there, but I think she was wrapping up anyway. So as she was mentioning, we've got Vicky Bruce joining us next week to talk about all the experiences that we can do in Edinburgh. So we very much hope to see you next week, and keep an eye out for Humphreys TV on Friday. That will be coming to you and featuring one of our favourite vineyards in Henley, actually. So they're back open, welcoming visitors again. So we're very much excited to go and visit them tomorrow and get that filming ready for you on Friday. So thanks very much for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye bye.